was that in any way, like I heard you mention Marcus Garvey, so was it connected to the UNIA in any way? Was like, because I know they had chapters of the UNIA here in St. Kitts in Sandy Point, I think it was. So was there
Well,
any connection
yes,
to that?
we was what I would say informed of the movement, the UNIA. But like I said, like much literature still wasn't around.
Oh,
So it's only little bits and things. So as I did mention that some of the brothers decided to move out and go to Jamaica.
oh, okay.
And at that time there was 2 passenger ships used to track through the region. They were 2 towing ships, Federal Palm and Federal Maple. They construct them from just a towing ship to a passenger. And I think it was England in the colonial time wanted to build up England, because this is just after the war, the Second World War. They wanted people from the Caribbean, which they call the wind rush.
Yes. To go to
To
England.
go to England
at that
and so
time. Yes.
on. My mother was one of those
Oh,
people, said. And so you find that when the boat came here to pick up passengers to go to Canterbury and England and all, so you know, these areas, to build up the areas, our brethren then would actually go on these boats and drop off in Jamaica, because they used to be in, into the different islands and Caribbean countries on the way up to England and all these places. So you find that by doing that, being able to collect information from the brethren and the different houses, especially the Naibingi house in Jamaica, and bring again, come again, and that's how we get some of the information and so on.
So this was what time? 70s or
Well,
60s?
still within the 70s or the early 70s. Yeah. And then there is where we start to get more information and happen to know of Leonard Howell. And these are the things we start to get. So you find that the transition moved from just a black power conscious revolutionary into Rastafari, guys. 1 or 2 brethren from Jamaica now, dreadlocks, Natty Bongo, came again with 1 or 2 brethren, so I see what the dreadlocks is all about. And then knowing that I was Bible readers, always within the script, was following the number 6. So we know of the number 6 with the Nazarene vow and all that, but seeing a one, and could relate more into the order. So you find that I was coming along the lines where I could go a little more about my personal segment, following the lines of the Nazarite vow. It make many stipulations of cleanness and uncleanness and your meals, and these things. So I find myself with a little play. I was playing, and so I cut down. And come again. But that was of that time.
Gotcha.
So you find that enough I was able to gain more strength, and then enough man start natty. And then I brethren move so, because the inspiration hit them so. bad that it become irrational. Enough man went to the hills,
Okay.
you know, and enough man decide no fire food. So we had different qualities and stages within Rastafari in St. Kitts. No, you know, it was standards, you know, because we had many qualities, man and man. And then, you know, as things go on, and then coming into the 80s, man started to organize himself now in groupings. So, but churchically,
Okay.
there was always the Nayabingi, yeah, coming out of the Buckles region.
Okay.
Some elders in the areas, yeah. And them was the forerunner, Rastafari in St. Kitts. And
So you yourself was a part,
well, to tell you the truth,
okay.
I was tied up in music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was raising little bands in my community, you know, doing things. I had a little talent and found it out because I come to the churchical, the Babylonian churchical system.
Yeah.
So I was always on stage saluting and giving recitations. And so I developed a braveness and a stage personality,
Alright.
you know. So then I was in my own thing, occupied in my community. We raised many little bands in this old road community.
Yeah.
The first settlement of the mother colony. It's the first settlement.
Is in all over.
Yeah.
I think it was in 16, what, 23 or something?
16, 23, 24.
Around there.
Yeah. And but that is what they told us. Because we believe different.
Close nature.
God, you know, black people was
Everywhere.
everywhere on the earth.
That is it.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
You know? They gave us some story and you know, we go along with it. You know? Well,
So you was talking about the bridges in Buckley's?
yes. The brethren in Buckley, like I said, I didn't associate much because I was so occupied. But they were so organized where the island always have what is referred to as a Christmas festival.
Okay.
And these brethren from Buckley's would actually hold a designated spot and call it Rasta Village. And that's when I find time for myself so that I could make acquaintances. So I would go to Bastille where they have the Christmas festival. It used to be the Christmas festival before it became Carnival. And the area, the designated area that these brethren had was a fenced area. And you could walk with your hammer and rest. The only hindrance is if the Most High would send the blessings. And because there was no roof, so you're under the mercy of the heavens. Well, Father used to always bless it. Even a little drizzle come around, it's just for a little reminder and party continue. The 3 Firestone, because there was always the other part. The 3 Firestone, So the Itala cooking there, you know, and the whole thing, the even though ganja, the herb, was um, was not as it is today,
Yeah.
decriminalized as today, and it was serious then. But at that time, in that setting, you're free.
Mm. Mm.
You're free. But looking back at what happened now is what I'm interjecting just now. And what happened then and what happened now is sure that I was doing the thing that is within I interest and privacy within the Rastafari faith, and did know that all this was a part of my constitutional right. So that is why I wasn't being interfered. So you find as soon as you step out of that seclusion, you will be interfered.
So tell me something quickly. The relationship, because I heard you mention one time we was speaking and you talked about Bratcher and how, you know, the projection of how Bratcher once pictured him, you know, was kind of incorrect. You know, I don't know if you want to share that with how, you know,
Yes, well,
the system viewed Rasta.
Yeah, in them same time in the 70s, time Honorable Llewellyn Bratcher also conscious leader, and as we say, father to the nation. And I bear so much persecution under his leadership of his Labour Party coming out of the Labour Trades and Labour Union. And that is a regime come way back from the Buckley's riot, 1932. So that's the belly it come out of.
Come out of, yes, I read that.
And then was onto this struggle against the colonial powers to be. So everybody was more on the bandwagon of Mr. Bratcher. Which was the right thing to do, because we're talking about independence, self-reliance,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
sustainability, yeah. So, but you know, within, you will always have opposition. So he still had an opposition. Opposition, we ain't gonna make it too much of the politics, really. But he had an opposition from taking over from the plantocracies, which is the colonizers coming out of England. But then they make ties here on the island. They made families. And these offspring was second generation now, first generation. Who know? They're citizen like native and national like you too. So here is it. So there was. But really and truly, you must have, that's politics. That's politics. But within that, just like King David run a government. King Solomon run a government. They had all these things in place, securities. You know? So what is going on today in that sense is just of ancient. But what make it wrong? Just like the ecclesiastical area too, which is a church, being taken over by Babylon. See? Being taken over, so you find that the nature of it has been changed. So, if you're conscious, stay conscious still. And if you're evil, stay evil still.
That is it.
You know? So, yeah, coming out of that, and then Mr. Bradshaw used to, well, under his leadership, the administration, he had good security, defense force, well trained, and you hear many harassment. But we were forced blaming the leader. At least you are somebody who's in charge, and there's offense going up there. So who in charge? First, you didn't rap.
Yes.
For you to get a dialogue with them. It matters. So, we had the impression that he was against Rasta. It's only after his passing and see the whole operation after table turn and all these things, and start who are who, even though you knew because you was on a part where you never lost you were when you meet the crossroad.
Yeah.
As it was spanned that dying, just shoot and run. And it's only after he died we realized it was him. It was our society. Parts of his administration, his civil service. As I said, the whole society wasn't Rasta. So it was difficult for him.
Flag.
Oh, RasTafari. That's it. So, we move forward after his death. We had a change of government. It was a branch of the colonizers. Point blank. But, as I said, of children at the men who know. And that change where you now have had the People's Action Movement. I still got to give him politics mix because it shows we are in that, with both.
Yeah. Because you're living in a society that is governed by them, so
yes, you must
still
communicate.
You still have to
you have to communicate.
Yeah. Whether it's in a good way or a bad way,
you must have dialogue.
Exactly.
So after that change came, it came with a different name of movement because it was forced coming out of the plantocracy people who was running the government, all the lands and all this. Slavery was ended. That's all we had. Had to go into the cane field. And I must say, before that, though, I think we're going a little too fast now. Mr. Batcher did great opportunities, so you put in skills and then start with, because from the sugar factory, there was an apprenticeship scheme system going on, even running out of England. So our people start to be skilled now. See? But how the system work out, they train those people are our people. Because I was in those. I probably a second generation of that people who they start to use to make skills.
Okay.
Within the manufacturing field, you're going to have welders, carpenters, builders, electricians, with a proper workshop internationally. That's my skill. I was trained at the sugar factory as a welder.
Okay.
Specializing heavy duty welding. That's my profession. It's all my work. And Mr. Bratcher did raise, and we have these people. But as I said, the system, because when they start to call for our people to call the Windrush generation and these, they already had some skills. So they went out there with it.
Out there with the skills.
So today they call that kind of thing brain drain.
Right.
But it was going on ever since.
Sure.
So you left here with nothing. So he did make some major contributions. He set the path. And we call Father of the Nation. He set the path. So whatever the other side inherit, just
go on, because it was from off of his work.
Yes. He already negotiated for lands with this, that, and make demands, and was conquering. Just like how Marcus Garvey been conquering, going back to Africa.
Yeah.
See? And there would be always the traitors and
Sure.
And as the old song say, I was a musician, say, good things don't last forever.
That is it.
But Father is one good thing.
Yes, sir.
He never lasts, and it's through him I live.
Yes, sir.
Give thanks.
Right.
So yes, after the transition, we were able to negotiate with the other people. But Rasta, as we say, Rasta is pure love. And we love everybody. And we show love. So Rasta will be everybody's friend. And there was some brethren who was very close friends, because there was fishermen, skill builders, and was close friends to the politicians who know the farm of after the regime lost the election. So young people rising, changing the mindset and the whole thing.
Yes.
So they were friends. They addressed them. His and the nation knowing that what we suffered under the farm regime.
Mm.
So he told us, them, he said us because I was close to, told them that, you know, you all can come negotiate with the government, because the government now have to represent, can, you know, personal bodies like,
yeah.
you know, the then Prime Minister, so tell them how to organize it. And we did. And we formed the LRM, Lamega Rastafari movement, which I man personally share the position of chair.
So we're into the 80s now.
So we moved into the 80s because
yeah.
it was 1980
when
Mr. Batcher was moved from office. He died in 1978, 2 years after his government moved.
Okay.
So then, in the 80s, and there is where we start having dialogue with the People's Action Movement called PAM, which is an offspring of the democratic movement of the Plantations. Just change of name to suit. But whether or not, all are natives. All are natives. Yes, there's indifferences. And there's where the politics lies. You know? So you have to know how to. So we did form the LRM. Had things going where we made sort of proposals because, as I told you, we had connection with Jamaica now. So just like how the Jews was looking unto Jerusalem, the salvation, it's the same way I and I, within these regions, it was looking unto Jamaica. As there is where the information coming from. See? So then things start going forward. But then, like Rastafari, you know, it lasts a few years. You know, that Rastafari go through many transition in trying to establish, keep a foundation. And you always have falling away. And, you know, the Irish come and the Irish high and low. And brethren come to revive the movement, you know, keep it. But somehow Rasta was going through the transition. So every man trying to find a firm footing and grounds, you know, within that aspect. And everything falls. But the Bingy house, as I did mention, from Buckley, the brothers them always had the Rastafari movement within its heretical form. So even though ones and ones come and fall off and come and fall off, the root Rastafari still did it.
Oh, the Bingy was holding it up.
Yeah. And as I said, everything go through some transitions and changes. In the Bingy too, went through some transformation of different things. But then Rastafari realized that there's more spiritual life because in them time, these ones and ones just going around smoking weed, eating item. We reason certain, and consciousness is and whatever information we get. But no collectiveness to bring as a sanctification. See? So you find that after 1966, when His Majesty came to Jamaica and sent back the church, Ethiopian Orthodox Church, under the leadership of Bishop Abuna Issa, then it starts spreading through some of the Caribbean region, St. Kitts, as man said with. And enough man started to draw because it was an order sent from His Majesty, where the church called. So enough man went on to Orthodoxy.
And that make it way into the region in St. Kitts by the 80s also?
Yes,
Okay.
during the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah. So you find that Rasta had a collective and a sanctified platform then in that sense. Yeah. And everything was blessed, which I said we became a part of Orthodoxy, and hailing His Majesty. See? Because I was Rasta before Orthodoxy. And getting more things and information on a church called out of Ethiopia now. So it gave you, and everything went smooth. As I said, everything got to transition. So in eras past. And Rasta start embodying themselves in their own churchical order in the formation of the Bingi house. We had the Bingi this, and we look at the Bobo. But then happened to know that yes, the Bobo was in Jamaica too. And the rebel Priest Emmanuel, and we start to learn these things. So then we start to see the Bobo. We don't have the Bingi house, now we see the Bobo house. And then we all start a little houses. But I must bring to remembrance though. We had a movement called the Trinity Trade Youth Alliance movement. Was Field Marshal Elder Tuza Jabash in St. Martin. And we used to have different camps of islands, different various islands. Every year we pick island, camp. It's a nice movement going on. Had all sorts of activities and educational panels. Tell me the eye. Wonderful. And as things get dreader and dreader, the system, these things just fail as but I know within Rastafari still was showing some hopeful positivity.
Yes, sir.
Even though yes, some things do happen, but we're still showing that hopefulness, which bring you back to the time of His Majesty dethroning And then you all get down and oh, yeah, see now, are you God dead? And I God is God of the living.
That is it. That is it.
The Most High.
That's yeah.
And Bob Marley's hook came out and smooth. No, for I and I soul.
China dead, children here, and stuff like that.
You know, fools say in their heart, Rasta, your God is dead. Jah live.
Yeah.
Bob Marley. Born in
So on
spear.
this space, I said China dead.
Jano did. You know, so we still had comfort. We still were staying home. And Rasta, you know, move through.
Still helless, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I So, within all these, I find myself not in every transition being in a leading front, but a following up. You know, and then I know from the OI, Organization of RasTafari Unity, a federative movement of St.Kitts. Well, this now stretched over in the 90s. Yeah. And the movement was in its week trying to get off the ground. The time now. Houses start falling, you know, making and dropping out. So Rasta like left out there again.
Yeah.
Scattered, you know. So it's like the movement didn't have somebody who was, as the system was saying, the system used the term charismatic. We didn't have that kind of energize. When I say charismatic, I say energize. You know, man had knowledge, but you still want to have a move. Know how to move people. Yeah, you got to know how to move people. It's like being, as I said, I play a little music. So the singer out front, you know how to work both band and walk the crowd.
You have to be a good organizer.
Yes, and so you got to know how to, you know, think. So, we had that coming through, and here we are, these times. You know, different houses still keeping fire burning. You know, at least you can see you have the Bubble House, Farm, well unified. We love him. Said we. Yeah, give thanks, praise, you know, behind them. And bless the Bubble House. As it mentioned in it was the numbers 2. When all the houses was called together and the order was given, all man to their father's house and carries their own standards and enzyme.
Yes.
You know, so when I know uphold, I try to give honor to ones and ones according to his standard. there is way to find these petty differences that start to
That's all
occur
right. Yes.
and bring a balanced situation. You know? So it's just that for man to overs to know truth and it's right. You know?
Mhm.
So when I come to a position now, especially with ORU here, we decide we too must have a unified front. You know? Where all ones within their standards and anxieties come together under His Majesty, the Mari Haile Selassie, and his teachings.
Mm.
And his teachings. That is where I got every form of man.
Sure.
His teachings. We know where man get speeches from. But His Majesty makes so much
Yeah.
appearance throughout the whole globe
Mhm.
and makes so many utterances.
Matter of fact, I have a book called The Selected Speeches of His Majesty about this thing.
I have some information on his speeches too. So when I see others, I say, well, you know,
Mhm. I want you to tell us about your Tewolade. How you get into that? Because I know you're a part of the Tewolade aspect of
the
the
Tewolade
Tewolade.
is one of the words alongside with Tawahido, which is Tawahido, Ethiopian Orthodox Tawahido Church. Unity. Tewolade is begotten.
Mm.
When we say Tewolade, house of the begotten of David.
Mm.
See? Just as we use it in a carnal sense. We know the heretical sense. We I healing His Majesty, Haile Selassie, power and might, all the Trinity. Use the same reference in a carnal as it was said that Yahshua, the second characteristic of that Trinity, the Messiah, was begotten of the Father. See?
Mhm.
So within that formation of what is referred to as incarnate, Irish word, you know, we are incarnate from that time. But we bring it up. See? And I ain't shutting.
Sure.
So it's so I use coming forward. Tewolade David. See? The dynasty, the Davidic Solomonic dynasty, and Emperor Haile Selassie being the 220 king of the monarchy,
Mhm.
and that's the island follow island teachings and upholding, you know, the island heritage, island heritage, the island heritage. See, so never mind island out here in the west.
Mhm.
We know of, well, they call it the
As
transatlantic
transatlantic
slavery.
slave.
But I don't use that term
Same, neither do I.
because why I don't use it? It is the word sound
Mhm.
that the colonizers want you
Yeah.
to be saying out there because it take away the responsibility of the atrocity
Mm.
from them.
Mm.
It is the European slave trade
Mm-hmm.
through the transatlantic passage.
Mm.
So how you going to use that and leave them out? It is the European slave trade.
See, yeah. Because they actually raised a war on us. You know, we was actually prisoners of war. You know, that became quote unquote slaves, you know? Yeah, so it's a big trickery that they
It's a
put,
big trick with the statement.
you know? Yeah. For you not to class yourself as such, you know?
Look at the slave trade before the European one,
Mm-hmm.
the Arab slave trade.
Yeah.
You call it out plain for what it is. Straight Arab slave trade.
True.
So when you trying to compromise it,
See.
say what it is. Line I got to be upfront, you know. But you know, as I and I come forward within the house as the Ajax, you know, yeah, we decide, you know, because Rasta was still out there seeking, and with this Tewolade, you know, it was some youths.
Mm.
Just to show you, the Irish just still come true. What is hidden from the wise and prudent come revealed to the babes and suckling. Because this is the generation that seeks imperial majesty, that seek thy face with Jacob, Selassie.
Yeah.
And there's some youths who embodying themselves, grouping themselves unto Rastafari, but had no one to guide them because they're still youths. And so I was called to reason a matter, spiritual too. And some of the brethren was called, another elder Egan was called. And we start to gather with them in our lowly, humble way, you know, and it started increasing, you know, and we were just functioning for some time without a spiritual leader, so to speak, or a priest. So we just greet each other, everyone, because he had man there who were elders to some, elder. So you hear everyone here with Elder Ira, you know, and as it is, as we went forward, and I decide, look, we must have somebody to lead the congregation. So we want a priest. And the election was on me. Election was on I, and Sanctify Yaiman as priest of Tewolade. But within addressing I man, which I man in my lowly humble state, I still like the idea of addressing me, Elder Ira. I love it. Yes. When it's time to do my priestly duties, I adorn myself priestly and carry out my duties and give thanks to the Most High and ask Him for His guidance continuously.
Sure.
You know? And it's the same way with all the I and I within the unison.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I and I could see,
Same.
you know, and function and keep the islets and the fire burning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we give thanks that the eye could have we made, you know, connection and
Yes,
could
sir.
bring out some of the, well, if you want to call it anciency.
Most natural, what do you mean? That is
And
paramount, you
yes,
know?
coming
Yeah.
into the now time, revelation time, as
Sure.
I and I see most of the things that I and I speak of, because at those times when we didn't have so much of literatures and verse with that worldly knowledge, all I and I read was the revelations.
Mm.
I and I never even was concentrating on the four gospels, as His Majesty mentioned. And we was from the number 6 to the Revelations, what the Revelation said,
Mm.
you know, and that's all the inspiration there.
Mm.
But we was through the iris of the Most High. We was correct because we could have identified Babylon. We could have identified RasTafari. We could have identified His Majesty crowning with the triple crown. We could have identified the war
Mm.
with he and the beast.
See?
See? And I see I myself as the same snow who they warring against through the system or the scheme of things, which I declare Babylon. See?
Sure.
I know through the revelation, no, for the saints.
Sir.
See?
Yeah.
So, as I come forward and at these meditation, knowledge and wisdom coming forward, and because looking into the revelation, we could see far out. So we see these times. So we know the tribulation and judgments.
Okay.
And we see it manifesting before I and eyes. We see Babylon falling. We see and we hear the confusion in the so-called churches. We see the abomination that they adopt him.
Yes, sir.
We know of the desolation. See? We hear how and we see how governments even are crumbling too. Look at I brethren. If we have Tewolade,
Yes, sir. Most definitely.
who now bringing back I to I first love and state. You know, a true native and offspring of I.
Yes, sir.
Well,
You know, Elder, I want to say, you know, same way too. Yeah, I've been, you know, invited, you know, to the item gathering, you know, down here in Hall Road, and more than one time, you know, and I have forward there for celebrations and, you know, the item Sabbath and observe how, you know, the item do the right thing, and it's commendable, you know, for keeping up that energy. I see where, you know, it's fostering unity, where the youths them can come, you know, and learn something towards, you know, the Africanness and the just the whole history of being, you know, a black individual, you know, because as we know, we're predominantly black here in St. Kitts, but just to know yourself as that same way, and know your history, know your culture, commend the island for keeping that alive within the island, the youths them, and yeah, also, for doing such a holding up the RasTafari traditions here in St. Kitts, and just give thanks, Honorable, for even sitting down with me, saying we do, and giving this interview. It was very, very informative. I know, me myself has learned a lot, and I know the people in virtual world definitely, out there gonna be watching this and hearing this and say, well, yeah, this burden spit a lot of information that I didn't. Even those who live right here in St. Kitts, so I want to commend you and give thanks on that. Yes, sir.
RasTafari.
Bless you. Yes, sir. Yeah, RasTafari.
Do you have a story to tell, a message to share, or a vision to bring to life? At the Tahu Production, we don't just create content, we craft experiences. We transform your ideas into captivating audio and visual masterpieces. From the spark of an idea to the final polished product, our team of passionate experts is with you every step of the way. Whether it's a powerful marketing video that converts, a heartfelt documentary that inspires, or a unique song that moves, we infuse every project with creativity, precision, and unparalleled quality. We understand that every project is unique, and we pride ourselves on delivering bespoke solutions that resonate with your audience and exceed your expectation. At Dataho Production, and your vision is our mission. Ready to make some noise, ready to be seen. Visit us at Datahu. Call or WhatsApp 914-424-2804. Start your next creative journey. Datahu Production, where your imagination takes center stage.